Hello friends, welcome back. This we are discussing about the tissues of the human body. So my dear friends, let me first of all repeat my previous lecture a little bit for you guys to remind you that we are discussing about the tissues of the human body. So in that case we know that there are four types of tissues in the human body: the epithelial tissue, the connective tissue, the muscular tissue, and the nervous tissue. Right friends, these four basic tissues are found in our bodies. Now in the previous lectures, in a very detailed form, we have discussed the epithelial tissues in big detail, and I hope you have watched those lectures. There are about 13 or 14 lectures regarding the epithelial tissues of the human body, so we have that. Then we had started to discuss about the connective tissue, and in this lecture we had done the intro of the connective tissue. What is connective tissue? That tissue which support these other three tissues of the body, structurally and functional support they provide to the other tissues of the body. Such type of tissues in our body are called the connective tissues, right? Then we have said about the composition of the connective tissue. That connective tissue in our body, when from anywhere where you take the connective tissue from the body, there will be the presence of three important factors, three important things. The first will be the cells of connective tissue that we will discuss right now. Then there will be matrix, right? Then there will be matrix. Okay, so let me write here the matrix. The two things are there, the cells and the matrix, and the matrix itself is composed of ground substance and fibers, right? So ground substance and fibers. Clear friends? So we say a connective tissue is composed of not two but three important factors. The first one are cells, the second one ground substance, and the third one is fibers of connective tissue. Now we have discussed about the introduction of connective tissue and the ground substance we have already discussed, right? Then now we will discuss about the cells of the connective tissue, that which type of cells you can find inside a connective tissue, and then we will, in the next lectures, we will discuss about the fibers of connective tissue, that are the elastic fibers, that are the collagen fibers. I will have full lectures, and then there are the reticular fibers. So these three types of fibers are found in a connective tissue: elastic, collagen, and reticular fibers. And in different connective tissues there are different type of collagen fibers. We will discuss each inshallah in detail. See you guys and keep waiting for us, right? So let us discuss about the cells of connective tissue, right? Let me write here cells of connective tissue. Okay friends, before going to cells, let me first introduce you guys again a little bit. For example, this is a very small piece of connective tissue that I have taken from my body, right? What will be here? There will be cells, different type of cells present in this little piece of this connective tissue, different types of cells, and I will discuss all these cells in detail inshallah right now, and you will see that what you can learn from us here. There are cells, then there are fibers. You know, there are fibers in this connective tissue. So how many types of fibers will be found? You know that I have written there. There will be the collagen fibers, there will be the elastic fibers, right? And then there will be the reticular fibers also present there. And these, first I wrote what? I wrote the cells, right? Then the second one I told you the fibers, right? And these cells and these fibers are located in a jelly-like substance that is called the ground substance. Ground substance, right? So any connective tissue in your body contains these three important factors, that is the cells of the connective tissue, the fibers of the connective tissue, and the ground substance of the connective tissue. And I had told you that there are three types of fibers in the connective tissue: 1, 2, and three, which we have written here: the elastic fibers, the reticular fibers, and the collagen fibers. And the ground substance of this connective tissue is made up of what we had discussed in the previous lecture: the proteoglycans, the glycoproteins, and other factors which are present in the ground substance of the connective tissue. Friends, we have discussed this factor in detail. Now let us go in detail of the cells of the connective tissue. So let me write here cells. Friends, inside a connective tissue you will find two types of cells, right? For example, let me show you here. For example, this is a house, right? This is a very small house, and in this house there are persons which will be permanently present there. In this small house there are some persons which who belong to this home, right? Those persons are residing here permanently. Those persons are residing here and living here permanently, and there can be some guests who come to this house and visit their house. So there will be some guest people who will come and visit their house, and you know, if he is a guest, so this guest will be for some time, and if they are permanently living here, they will be living here permanently. So look carefully: guest, and these are the permanent cells or permanent people of this house, and this house belong to these people, and these people are the guests, right? So they come and go, they are transient. They are transient people. What does it mean? It means that these people, these black people, will remain in this house permanently, and they will not go anywhere, and they will be living there, right? And these red people, and also these blue people, green people, and also these blue people, right? They are the guests, and whenever a guest comes and visit your house, he goes again. Right? So we say these are the cells. You just consider this house is a piece of connective tissue. This house is a piece of connective tissue, and in this piece of connective tissue there are cells, right? These are also cells, right? And these are also cells. And how many types of cells you can see in a connective tissue? There are two groups of cells. The first group of cells are the permanent cells of this connective tissue. It means that these type of cells will never go out of this piece of the connective tissue, and these cells are not the permanent. They come from somewhere to this connective tissue, visit their house, spend some time there, and then go out. Right? So we say they are the guest cells, they are the transient cells, they are the visiting cells. They are the visiting cells. Right, friends? So a connective tissue is composed of two types of cells. First one are the permanent residents of the tissue. The second one is the guest cells or the transient cells or the visiting cells. And these are the cells which come to connective tissue, perform some action, and then go out. Right? So they are the guests. Okay. So a connective tissue is composed of how many types of cells? The two types of cells. The first one are the permanent cells, and I will discuss about these permanent cells in detail right now. And the second one cells are the transient cells. Transient cells, or we call them visiting cells. Visiting cells or the transient cells. Right, friends? So we are now we know now that inside a connective tissue there are two types of cells: the permanent cells and the transient cells. Now let us discuss the permanent cells in big detail. Let me write here the permanent cells. Permanent cells of connective tissue. So friends, along with these recognition of these permanent cells, we will recognize the types of connective tissues also which are present in our body. Right? So the first type of cell which is present in a connective tissue, which is permanently residing there, which does not go anywhere, are called the osteoblasts. Osteoblast cells. Right? what is osteoblast? Os means bone, right? So these are the cells of the bone which are permanently residing there in the bone connective tissue, right? So osteoblasts, and then there are another type of cells which are permanently residing inside your bone, are called the osteocytes, right? So what is the difference between site and blast? Let me write here the difference between site and blast. That's so simple. Blasts are those cells which have the capability of producing lots of fibers and ground substance, right? Look carefully. They are the cells which are always blasting, which are always producing something, which are always producing ground substance and fibers of connective tissue. So they are always producing what? Always producing ground substance and fibers. Such type of cells anywhere in the body, the blast cells are the cells which can produce something else, which produce something, right? These, and the sites are the cells which have lost the ability to produce these fibers and ground substance, right? So it means that they are the young cells. Who are the young cells? The blast cells are the young cells. They can produce anything, right? But the sites are the elder cells. They are the elder people, you know, the elder people. Okay, let's see here. The young people can produce babies, right? If they get married, they can produce offsprings, they can produce babies. But what about the elder people, more than 70 years of age, more than 60 years of age? They have lost the ability to produce offspring or babies, right? So the sites are the cells which cannot produce fibers, and they are just sitting and controlling everything inside the bone tissue, what is happening, right? But the blast cells are the cells which are always blasting, which are always producing fibers and ground substance for the tissue, right, friends? So here we have osteoblast. So in the os, in the bone, we have blast cells, and these blast cells are responsible to make the mass of the bone. They make bone mass, and bone mass, you know, is composed of fibers mostly collagen fibers, collagen type 1, and the ground substance of the bone, and the mineralization of this bone, everything then occurs, right? So the osteoblasts are the cells which are present in the bone, and they are always blasting, and they are always producing the ground substance and fibers. But the osteocytes are the elder cells of the bone, right? These, you know, when we are young, we can produce babies, but with the age growing, then we lose the capability of producing offsprings and babies. So here is the people with the higher ages, right? More than 60 or 70 years of age, right? So these are the cells. These were actually the blast cells, but now they have lost the capability of producing fibers and ground substance. Now they are remaining there, they are sitting there, and they are remaining in the bone permanently. So they are not going anywhere. They are called osteocytes, and they are called osteoblasts. I hope you are clear now, right? So these are the permanent cells of the bone which remain there permanently, right? So we say they make which tissue of your body? They make bone tissue. And now we know that the bone is a connective tissue in our body, right? Next type of cell which is present, which are the permanent cells of a connective tissue, these are called the chondroblasts, right? And the fourth one, chondrocytes, right, friends? I will go in detail of each of the cell in next lectures. This is just an introduction. Look carefully. Chondr. What does it mean by chondr in our body? Chondr means cartilage. So both of these tissues, both of these type of cells are found in the cartilage tissue in our body, and I will discuss about the cartilage in big detail, don't worry. So look carefully. Blast, again there is the blast cell, and what is it blasting, what is it producing? It is producing condor, it is producing cartilage, right? As this means os means bone, so condor means cartilage. So chondroblasts are the cells of cartilage which are always blasting, which are always producing the ground substance of the cartilage and the fibers of the cartilage.